Robinson Crusoe, a tale of courage and survival. Once upon a time, in a quiet town surrounded by green hills and gentle rivers, there lived a boy named Robinson Crusoe. He was the youngest son of a retired merchant, a kind man who only wished for Robinson to become a wise and respected lawyer. His mother agreed. But Robinson, he had dreams that stretched far beyond the fields and fences of his home. He would sit by the shore for hours, watching the waves crash and the ships disappear into the horizon. The sea called to him like a song in the wind, soft, mysterious, and impossible to ignore. One day, filled with excitement, he begged his mother to speak to his father for him. She did, but in the end, they both said no. They warned him of storms, pirates, and danger. Still, his heart longed for adventure. A year passed, and then, early one cold morning, while the sky was still dark, Robinson packed a small bag, left a note, and slipped away from home. He ran to the harbor and boarded a ship sailing to London. It was January 1st, 1651. But fate had its own plans. A few days into the journey, a terrible storm shook the ship. The wind howled like a wild beast, and towering waves crashed onto the deck. Robinson was terrified. The ship survived, but the fear lingered. So, he returned home for a while, but the sea never stopped whispering to him. Eventually, he found a captain, a friend, who offered him a place on a new voyage. The journey was a success. Robinson felt braver, stronger, and more determined than ever. But soon after, tragedy struck. The kind captain passed away unexpectedly. Robinson, with a heavy heart, gave most of his earnings to the captain's widow. Still drawn to the ocean, Robinson joined another crew headed to Guinea. But pirates attacked their ship. The fierce Maori corsairs captured him and forced him into slavery. 2 years passed. Then, one morning, with the help of a small fishing boat, Robinson escaped. The sun rose as he drifted far from danger, and hope returned to his heart. Not long after, a Portuguese ship spotted him and pulled him aboard. They sailed to Brazil. There, Robinson started a small sugar plantation. He worked hard and grew content with this quieter life. Years passed, and though life was not easy, it was steady. But deep down, the flame of adventure still burned. On January 1st, 1659, Robinson once again boarded a ship, this time heading back to Guinea. But fate had other plans. Again, a monstrous storm swept the sea. The ship was torn apart. The crew vanished. Only Robinson survived. When he opened his eyes, he found himself lying on the sand of a deserted island. The sky was quiet. The waves whispered. The trees stood tall, watching him. He was alone. Tears filled his eyes, but he was alive. That, he thought, was a miracle. He searched the remains of the broken ship and carried useful supplies back to the shore. Bit by bit, he built himself a shelter, crafted tools, and counted the days by marking lines on a wooden post. He found goats in the wild and learned how to tame them. He baked his own bread. He shaped pots from clay. The island became his home, and the trees, his silent friends. Years passed. One day, while walking along the beach, he saw something that froze him in place. A footprint. A human footprint. But whose? His heart pounded. He waited, hiding for days, watching from afar. Eventually, he saw them. A group of strangers, dancing wildly around a fire. They were not kind. They were frightening. But one night, something changed. Robinson saw a young man among them, frightened and tied up. Robinson could not watch. He grabbed his musket and with great courage, rescued him. The young man fell to his knees and thanked Robinson with wide, grateful eyes. Robinson gave him a name, Friday, because that was the day they met. From that moment on, they became companions. Robinson taught Friday how to speak a few words. Yes, no, thank you. And Friday taught Robinson stories of his people, of shipwrecked Spaniards who were still alive. They built a small, happy life. They laughed, cooked, explored, and protected each other. Then, in the 27th year on the island, more strangers arrived, bringing more captives. Among them, a man with a long beard, a Spaniard. Robinson and Friday once again acted with bravery. They saved the prisoners and welcomed them into their home. Now a leader among his little island family, Robinson dreamed of helping the rest of the stranded Spaniards. He made a plan. They would all live together, in peace. 8 days later, Friday came running. A ship was near, an English ship. They watched as a small boat reached the shore, filled with men. But something was wrong. These men were not friendly. They were rebels, trying to steal the ship and abandon the captain and his loyal crew. With quiet steps and careful planning, Robinson and Friday rescued the captain and helped take back the ship. The mutineers, frightened and ashamed, begged for mercy. Robinson, wise and fair, made them a deal: stay on the island and build a new life, or return to face punishment in England. They chose the island. And so, after 28 years, Robinson Crusoe and his loyal friend Friday sailed away. They returned to England as heroes, guests of honor on the captain's ship. He had left as a boy chasing dreams. He returned as a man, wise, brave, and full of stories. Moral of the story: even when life feels lonely, even when storms shake your world, never lose hope. Be brave, be kind, and no matter how far you wander, courage will always lead you home.